Do you know what time it is? It's time to get crafting, so let's go get started. And this is just a piece that I had done in the summertime and I'm repurposing it. But these little frames come from the Dollar Tree. They're one of my very favorite frames that they sell there. And I'm just going to go ahead and cover the top of this with this Merry Christmas wrapping paper. So this one is one of those like holographic papers. It's like the shiny with the like glitter on it. I just used my Mod Podge and covered that whole thing up. Then I'm going to use my sanding block and I'm going to go around the sides, and it's time for me to get a new sanding block. Mine has pretty much wore out, but it is pretty simple to just go around and your paper should just fall off just like that. Then we're going to put our little picture back inside the frame. I'm not going to paint the frame or the beads because I like the natural look, and I'm not actually hanging this up, so I just kind of put my beads in the back when I put it up on my shelf. And then I'm going to use this little ornament that I made with some window clings that came from Walmart, and if you want to see that video, I'll put it down at the end and in my description box. But I'm just taking some buffalo check ribbon and I'm going to make a just really simple shoelace bow to cover up the little hole at the top of our ornament hanger. I'm just going to put some hot glue there, and then I'm going to take some hot glue and glue the ornament into the sign, and then that is it for this one. If you don't have an ornament like this one, you can definitely get a pre-made ornament from Walmart, Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby. They're all on sale now, so you can definitely get something cute to hang in the middle of this one. But here it is styled. Let me know what you think about this one.
I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
But we're going to take some Mod Podge and we're just going to cover the entire circle. I do go ahead and remove the planter part because at first I had thought that it would make a super cute like lollipop or something like that, but then I went a different direction. So these would make really cute lollipops if you have any of these on hand. You could definitely paint them and wrap them with cellophane. I think that would be adorable. So I laid my wrapping paper on top, put the Mod Podge on, and I found that this foil wrapping paper kind of wrinkles quite a bit, but you are able to smooth it out. You just have to be really careful not to rip the wrapping paper. So then I put the pom-pom garland on and I just used hot glue and glued it all around the outside part of our bulb. And then I took some ribbons that I had on hand. Some of these came from Dollar Tree, some of them came from Hobby Lobby, but we're just going to glue this really cute shabby bow up into the top of our ornament, right inside of the pom-pom garland. So once I get that glued on, I decided to add some greenery here. If you don't have greenery, this is super cute by itself, so you could leave it with just the ribbon. But I just had this greenery on hand. I think this came from an Amazon return store. They were little wreaths, but Dollar General has had some frosted picks in the past, and so does Hobby Lobby. So I just cut them into little pieces, and I'm going to glue them on right on top of the bow. Add the cute little berries that came with it, and then here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one.
In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the windows in the rain is pouring. It will
Sign, and this sign came from Hobby Lobby. I actually had it in my stash, but you can pick it up when they have their unfinished wood 40% off. So I just measured my wrapping paper to kind of fit inside, and then since the Dollar Tree wrapping paper is pretty thin, you don't need an X-Acto knife here. You can use your scissors. Just be very careful not to tear quickly, but it will cut like around any kind of edge that you're wanting to do. So once I do that, I just like get any excess that didn't maybe get it with the scissors, I just cut it and then I'm able to tear it, just like I did with my sanding block. So that is a really fun hack, just to use your scissors, because like I said, you don't need an X-Acto knife if you don't have one. So I went ahead and measured all the edges, doing that same technique with my scissors, and then I'm just going to use some Mod Podge to glue it into the middle of this frame. So, there are so many types of wrapping paper, so you can definitely customize this to your decor. I love Santa. I decorate with Santa, and I've told you guys that lots of times, so I always tend to go towards the more traditional colors in Santa because that's what I decorate with. So then I took this baker's twine that I'm pretty sure came from the Dollar Tree, and I also have these bells on hand. I'm not sure if they came from the Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby, but I just strung them onto my baker's twine, and then I tied that into a good knot. So I just took all the pieces, tied it like about 3 times, and then we're ready to glue them to our sign. We took some more of the same ribbon, and this is ribbon from Hobby Lobby, the Dollar Tree, and possibly Dollar General. And I'm just making another shabby bow using my white ribbon to tie it in the middle, like I always love to do because it becomes part of your bow. And then we're just going to attach that up at the top of our sign. This one's super simple, but I think it's absolutely adorable, and it is my favorite project of the day. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You and me, doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart, and I
I
can't.
picked this up at Hobby Lobby a while ago in the unfinished wood area as well, and I just went ahead and cut out this foil wrapping paper to match the circles. I just used Mod Podge again, and I'm going to go around and use my sanding block to get off any of the excess wrapping paper. You can see here that it comes off really easy. If you don't have a sanding block, regular sanding paper or sandpaper would work just as well. So then I decided to go ahead and paint the beads with my red chalk paint, and I did go ahead and do the sides as well. I was originally going to leave it as a natural wood, but I thought red actually added a really nice accent. So I made these little gingerbread guys a few videos ago. If you want to check that out, it'll be down in my description box. But these came from Michael's, and I had gotten them on clearance, but I was at a Michael's not too long ago, and I did see them again in their ornament section. So if you want to pick them up, you can get them again this year. So I took some ribbon that I think came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to glue it on one of our little buttons that I had used puff paint for. And then I thought it would be cute to use these little pom-poms and put those pom-poms where the other 2 dots are. This green pom-pom matches the wrapping paper a little better than the puff paint, so I thought that that would be a cute embellishment. So once you get that all put together, then we're going to glue them to the sign. So if you can't find these little gingerbread guys, there are some gnomes that I think would be super cute that they have at the Dollar Tree. We're just going to glue them onto each one of the circles here, and then here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one.
No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with
At the Target dollar spot. I don't even know how long ago, but Dollar Tree has several little items that look like houses that you could create something similar to this if you don't have these. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the back and the sides with the green chalk paint, and then we're going to use some Mod Podge to put our wrapping paper on the front. It's super simple, and then I have these picks that I got from Joann's, and I'm just going to glue them up at the top. So this house is going to get 1 pick. When I cut it, I accidentally cut all the pieces apart. This one is going to get 2 picks, so I'm going to put 1 on each side, and then the smaller house gets a different type of greenery, and it's more of a frosted greenery so that they look a little bit different. I really love how this turned out. This is really simple. It's a simplistic village, so if you don't have like a huge space for a village, or you're just looking for some houses, some Christmas houses to go like in a vignette or on your shelf to go within your decor, this is a great option for that. But here it is styled. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring.
Front door, but we're going to take some wrapping paper and we're going to be cutting it into squares. So our first one, we're going to do 6 by 6 squares, and we're going to cut out 16 of those, and then we're going to take a separate color and we're going to cut out 16 of those, and those are going to be 4 by 6. So the great thing about wrapping paper these days is it has the squares on it. So if you don't have one of these mats, the squares are 1-inch squares. So all you would need to do is count out the 4 and 6 squares, and then you can cut out your pieces of wrapping paper. I think it's so genius whoever decided to do that and put the grid on the back. It makes cutting wrapping paper so much easier. But once we get our pieces cut out, then we're going to roll them, just roll them up, and I taped them so they become these little cone shapes. And then we're just going to glue them onto this cake ring. So I got this cake ring at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to intertwine our wrapping papers. So the ones that are 6x6 are the longer ones, and they are the red plaid, and then the ones that were 4x6 are the green plaid, and we're just going to go all the way around this cake ring, interchanging the colors. So I had a little bit of difficulty with this, especially as I started to like turn the corners. I didn't want any of the silver part to show, and so I had to like kind of smash some of them in there as we turned the corners. But once I got all of the pieces of wrapping paper glued on, then we're going to take some bulbs, and these came from Dollar Tree. So I got this one set, and then I got some smaller ones, and the red and green ones also had gold, and the wrapping paper had gold, so I thought that that was like a nice tie-in to the gold wrapping paper. But we're just going to glue about 4 or 5 of these gold ones all around the red ones, and that is it. So it's a little time consuming. You're going to want to put a show on or maybe a movie and just get to cutting and rolling, but the actually assemble part of it is really not that hard. It's not super heavy, so you should be able to hang it on your tree or hang it on a door if you want to do that. But here it is styled. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
This year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary.
For this project, we're going to make a Shabby Angel, and I'm going to show this process just one time because I use the same process through the whole video, but we're going to take the stocking and cut it apart. The back is like a flannel piece, or like I don't know if it's flannel, but fleece maybe, and then the front is this burlappy gingham type material. So I'm just going to cut all the parts off, and then I'm going to tear these into strips, and then we're going to use the strips throughout the video for certain projects. I think I used 2 big stockings and 1 small stocking for this video. So once I have my pieces, I just fold those in half to get smaller pieces. I cut them, and now I'm just grouping them into a bundle. So we're going to take these and tie it off at the top like a tassel. This would make a super cute tassel garland if you wanted to make a tassel garland, or you could turn these angels into a garland, and that would be super cute too. So we're just going to take some twine, tie it off here at the top, and then at the end we're going to tie that together to make it the hanger. I took this wicker ball, or like a twine ball that you can get in the crafting section at Dollar Tree, and we're just going to glue that to the top for the head. And then I cut out a boomerang shape, and I'm going to glue that to the back of our bundle. Those are going to be our wings. And then here it is styled for you guys. This one's my favorite. Let me know what you guys think. So for this project, we're going to make a rustic angel, and we're going to use one of these wood rounds. I got these at Hobby Lobby in a big bundle, and they have totally been worth it. I've used them pretty much all Christmas crafting season, so they are a really great deal, that bundle. So we're just going to use the back this time, and it's more of a felt material, but we're going to glue it onto the front of our wood round. I just thought that this would make a little bit more stability for the angel we're making here. Then I just cut random pieces. These were just like kind of leftover pieces, scraps I guess you would say, and I just glued those on as the wings, and then we're just taking our pieces and we're gluing them down. So the first few pieces I do glue like all the way down onto the wood round just to kind of give it a little background, and then I just start gluing them only at the tops to give it the more shabby feel. And then you can glue as many or as little of these on as you want to. I did the stripes and the solids just to have a little contrast. I took another one of those wicker balls, glued it at the top, used the red ribbon around the top to use it as a hanger, and then here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a rustic bulb, and we're just going to use a styrofoam ball. Now this was in my stash, but basically every craft store sell styrofoam balls. You can get them in any size that you would like to make this project with. I'm using the rule of force, I guess, here as to wrap it around. This is also how I cut pizza, so if you were ever wondering, but we're going to go like in the middle, and then we're going to go in the middle again. That gives us kind of 4 sections, which is what I'm saying, like the rule of force. And then once I have that glued around, then I'm going to go again into the force where there are extra spaces. So just like I would cut a circle for pizza, I do that the same way until I get it all wrapped around. If you have any spare spots, you can fill them in with any loose pieces of the stocking that you have. I took another piece, glued it to the top for the hanger, and then I'm literally using all the scraps to make this little bow, tying it around with one of the pieces as well, like I always like to do. And then we're going to glue that up at the top by our hanger just to give it a cute little shabby bow on our bulb. And then here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. So we're going to make some rustic peppermint candy, and this is along the same lines with our bulb. Now I only had 2 styrofoam balls. I thought I had some more in my stash, so I only got to make 1 piece of candy, but I think I am going to go back and make some more because these are really cute. But we're just going to take like a full piece of stocking here because my styrofoam ball is kind of big. If you use a smaller styrofoam ball, it would wrap perfectly around the styrofoam ball. So I put a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm just going to twist it, and I'm going to take a piece of the stocking, and we're going to tie that off on the ends to give it the candy look. We're going to do that on both sides, and that is it, you guys. This one's pretty simple. Let me know what you think about this one. So we're going to make a rustic peppermint stick for this one, and I just had these wooden dowels in my stash, but you can get wooden dowels at Walmart or Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure Michael's and Joann's as well. And I'm just taking some longer pieces of the stocking, and we're just going to glue at the top and wrap around. This is so easy. Everybody can make this one, and they're adorable. So we're going to glue at the very end, and now you can see that I have pieces of my wood showing through, no problem. We're going to go back with another piece, and we're going to wrap around in the sections that were open. You can do this as many times. These are a little bit shorter pieces, so I just wrap them around, and then I grab another one, and I keep going all the way to the end. I made 2 of these. I think they're adorable, and here they are styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about these. So for this project, we're going to make a rustic Christmas tree, and we're going to use a canvas from the Dollar Tree. I have so many of these in my stash. I need to use some of them up. But I just went ahead and cut strips of our stocking. Now, you could use any material here if you don't want to use a stocking, ribbon, fabric, any of that would work to make this Christmas tree. I did not measure mine because it's supposed to be shabby and vintage. So, but if you're one of those people who feel like you need to measure, you're just going to want to make sure that it's a little shorter on each side as you go up the Christmas tree. Then I used some fabric I had on hand that kind of matched the off-white gingham color, and then I glued that to the top, and then I'm just using some of our stocking that was plain, the gingham color, to make the stem of our tree or trunk of our tree. I'm just hot gluing that on, and then I decided to add a little bit more shabbiness, and I got these red bells out. I got these from Dollar Tree. There's no rhyme or reason to how I decided to put them on the tree. This is up to your total creativity, how many or how less you want to have. It'd be cute if you had a bell in the middle of the bow as well. I don't think I remembered to do that, but that would be cute too. So it was really bothering me, the whiteness of the background of the canvas, so I decided to go in and add some of my brown paint with water, and here is where I totally panicked and thought I ruined my project. But it was crazy, I went ahead and went over it again, and it just took that darkness out and made it all the same color, and it was the vintage kind of brown look that I was going for. So I was really happy. So don't worry if you have a little bit too much brown paint in your paintbrush, it will come out if you go over it again. But here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. So for this project, we're going to make a rustic star ornament, and we're just going to use a wooden ornament from Dollar Tree's Crafter Square area, and we're going to trace it around the felt part of the back of the stocking. Now, if you want to make a bigger one, you can definitely use a bigger star cutout. I'm just going to use some hot glue here, and I'm going to glue around all of the star pieces and leaving one little tiny piece open at the bottom so I can put some stuffing in it. Now, something I've learned after making some of these like glued ornaments is that you really need to like go for a bigger size than you're expecting your project to be, because you get a minimal amount of space inside when you go to stuff it. This one worked out okay, but I've made some projects in the past that ended up being too small because I didn't cut a big enough pattern. So then I'm just going to put some hot glue in the middle there after I stuff it, and I'm just using another piece of our stocking to be the hanger on the top, and then I made another little shabby bow. The really great thing about all these projects today, they were all made from Dollar Tree, and they were basically all made from the stocking. But here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. This project, we're going to make a stocking ornament, and this is really easy. We're just going to take one of the smaller stockings. Now these come in a pack of 2 for $1.25, so they're a really good deal if you're wanting to make ornaments or maybe a banner out of them. But we're just going to add some stuffing and then take some picks that I got from Dollar Tree, and we're going to add them to the top of our stocking. So this is really easy. We're just going to add some hot glue into the stuffing, and then after I get the picks in and I like how they look, I set my bird on top because if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know I love birds and birds in my Christmas trees, and so I had to put one in the stocking today because it's adorable. Anyway, we're going to glue that in, and that is all. These are customizable too, so like if you were wanting to put somebody's name on the front, you could use stickers or you could use your Cricut and just add that vinyl to the front to have a personalized name or a saying, season's greetings or Merry Christmas or something on the top of that. You could also put goodies in here if you wanted to give it as a gift. I don't know, these are adorable. I just really love the print on them, and they just say vintage and rustic to me, so that's my vibe. This whole video was really my vibe, how I like to decorate. And if I had to like sum myself up in a video, this would be it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you think about this project. This tag ornament as our inspiration piece. I took these shelves from the Dollar Tree. I had my husband cut them into a tag shape, and then I went ahead and had him cut off the holes that were at the bottom. He added a hole at the top of one of our planks, and then we're ready to get started. So we're going to go ahead and use some antique Waverly wax. We're going to cover both sides using a paper towel and wiping it down. Once I have my wax on and it's dry, we're ready to do some dry brushing. I'm using a chippy brush. I get mine from Amazon, and I'll link those down in the description box. But we're going to just use some white paint and go over the top of our tags. Once that is done, we're going to take this stencil. Now I know our tags say merry and bright. I'm going to change that into North Pole. I have this stencil that was in a stencil set that came from Amazon. I'll link those down below. But we're going to put North on one of our tags and Pole on the other. Once I have that done, we're ready to add the top portion. So all I'm going to do is take some ribbon and make a little bow, and then we're going to add some greenery into the back, and that is it. I think this turned out so adorable. This is my favorite project of the day. I think it gives a very high-end vibes, and it definitely is reminiscent of our Christmas tree ornament. What do you guys think about this one? So for this project, we're going to create this red door ornament. Now they have this ornament over at Dollar Tree almost every year. I think I've been seeing it for quite a few years now. I thought it'd be fun to recreate one. Now I found this door in the Dollar Tree Plus section for fall, and I decided that this would be a great way to make this project. Now come closer. They actually have Christmas doors now in the Dollar Tree Plus section. So if you don't want to recreate this but still want a really cute Christmas door, you could always pick one up in the Dollar Tree Plus section. I went ahead and took off all of the embellishments. Now the gather sign was this like wood chipish type sign, and some pieces got left on the wood door part. I chose not to scrape them off, but later I ended up having to take them off anyway. So if you have pieces left, go ahead and scrape those off. Once you have that all taken off, I tried to paint mine with some red acrylic paint. It wasn't working. It was just sort of soaking into the door. So instead, I took it outside and spray painted it with some white spray paint. Once that was dry, I brought it back inside and used my red acrylic paint and painted over my door. Once I had it a couple coats on there and I got the red color I was looking for, then I was ready to add my embellishment. So this is a already pre-made wreath from the Dollar Tree. It's just the greenery portion, and this is some really heavy duty metal. I was trying to bend it to make it a little bit smaller, but it was not going to look very pretty if I bent it. So I went ahead and used the same shape. If you feel like it's too big for the door, you can always get some greenery and wrap it around instead and glue that down. They have two choices at the Dollar Tree. You can get the greenery pieces that are just by themselves, or they do have like a long piece of greenery that you could wrap around and make a wreath out of. Once I get that glued on, then I'm going to add some berries here. This is just a berry pick I had on hand. And then I also created a bow with some ribbon I had on hand. I just went ahead and tied it off in the middle with some twine. Now I kind of played around with this a little bit because it just wasn't looking like I wanted to. I went ahead and added some dry brushing of black around the outsides. I did not add the snow to this because I tried to add some snow. I didn't like the way that it was looking, and I didn't have any fake snow on hand. But if you have that like glittery fake snow from the Dollar Tree, that would be really cute in sections of the store as well. Once I had that done, I was going to be done with it, but I decided there was some extra space at the top and I didn't like that. So I added some bells to the middle of our wreath, and then I just added another bell to the center, and then I really liked it. So here it is. It was sort of a work in progress, but I think we get the total look of this ornament. Let me know what you think about this one. Hey, don't forget, if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and become a part of my YouTube family. I found this really cute wreath ornament at Dollar Tree, and I thought we can totally recreate this one. So we're going to be using a pool noodle and some tape. We're just going to put it together and tape it off. Now this pool noodle, I had used a portion of it for another project, so it's a little bit smaller than a normal pool noodle, but a normal pool noodle will work as well. So once we have that all taped together, then we're going to take these dusters from the Dollar Tree. Now the duster will not fit all the way around your pool noodles, so I needed 8 dusters, or actually 7, I think, dusters to go ahead and make this. But this is super easy. All we're going to do is add hot glue to either your pool noodle or your duster, and then you're going to glue that onto the pool noodle. Now there were some areas that I had to add extra glue once I got it onto the pool noodle, but I used 4 on the outside and 3 on the inside. Once I get that all glued on, you can't even tell this was a pool noodle. I love the fluffiness of this, and we don't have to cut any of these, so they are not as messy as they sometimes can be. But once we have that all glued on, we're going to take some ribbon, make a bow, and we're going to just tie that off like a shoelace bow, glue it up at the top, add some greenery and a few berries and a bell, and then that is it for this project. I think it's super adorable. Let me know what you think about this one. If you made it this far in the video, comment a Christmas tree emoji so I know that you're here and you're loving this video. Now let's get back to the DIYs. So I found this super cute present ornament at Dollar Tree, and I thought I could recreate this one. So we are going to be using these wreath forms over in the crafter square area. They have these square ones. I picked up 5 of these wreath forms. We're going to need some zip ties, and we're going to zip tie them in several areas around them. So we're going to make this into a 3D box shape. I can't remember how many of these zip ties I used. I didn't actually count, but I put 2 on each of the sides, and then I went ahead and did 2 up in the corners. Now I left the bottom open. You could close the bottom if you want to. I decided I just didn't think that I needed to, but if you felt like you needed a 6th one to put that in the bottom, then you could go ahead and do that too. Then I found these scarves at the Dollar Tree, and I thought that they were pretty close to the buffalo check. Now, once I get them all glued on, I think it's not quite the pattern I was going for. So I was a tiny bit disappointed because it doesn't really give you the buffalo check feel, but it's still super adorable. And honestly, fabric would work great here. You could pretty much use anything you wanted to here. I was thinking wrapping paper as well might look really cute for this project. But I'm just going to take 2 of these scarves and go in one direction, and then I'm going to take 2 more scarves and go in another direction. So then my whole square is covered. I used hot glue just on some of the rings in various places. I flipped it over and I glued down the scarves inside the box. So once I have all my scarf put on there, I'm going to add some ribbon. The ornament had some twine, but I thought the twine might get lost. You could definitely use some nautical rope here instead of ribbon if you wanted to get more of the ornament look. So I'm just going to put it in one direction and then another as it crisscrosses like a present. I go ahead and glue it down, and then I add some greenery to the top along with some berries, and that is it. It was pretty easy, and I didn't need a lot of supplies to make this, so definitely recommend this one, and the sky is the limit for however you want to create this. Let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a spoon snowman, and I picked up these spoons at the Dollar Tree. You get 2 for $1.25. I'm going to cover it with 2 coats of white folk art chalk paint, and then I'm going to take my chippy brush and I'm going to do 1 coat of the black chalk paint from folk art to give it a distressed look. I love how this spoon turned out. So then I'm going to use the end of my paintbrush. I like to make little beady eyes with the end of my paintbrushes. It's a super easy way to make a face. So if faces intimidate you, this is a super simple one that you can make. So we're going to just use our really thin paintbrush to paint on the nose, and then we'll go back to the tip of our paintbrush to create some little coal pieces for its mouth. I love to create these kind of little cute faces, and they each have their own kind of look, and it just really depends on where you put your dots as how they end up looking. So then I'm going to take some fabric from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue one side. I do go ahead and put some hot glue at the top as well, and we're making a little hat if you haven't figured that out yet, but we're just going to use some twine and tie it off at the top. Now you could add some pom-poms here if you wanted to. I was going for a more rustic farmhouse look, so I'm just going to use twine, but really anything would look super cute. This is some leftover Dollar Tree fabric, but they do have some really cute Christmas fabric out right now. So I'm going to take a piece of twine and tie it around the top of the hat piece, and then I'm going to tie that also into a knot because that's going to be the piece that we hang on our tree for the Christmas ornament. I'm going to add some hot glue around the spoon just to keep my hat in place. And then here it is styled for you guys. I have to tell you, this is my favorite one of the day, and I just absolutely love how it turned out. Oh, I forgot the scarf. So you're just going to tie it on a piece of fabric to make his little scarf. And here he is. You guys let me know what you think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a woodblock snowman, and Dollar Tree has these little dice out now, and when I very first saw it, it just said snowman to me, so I covered it with some of my white folk art chalk paint, and I'm just going to glue all three pieces together. Then I'm going to take my chippy brush, and I'm going to use my black paint, and I didn't put any more paint, this was just what was left over from our first project, and I'm going to dry brush over all of the pieces together. Once I have that done, then we're going to create a little face similar to the first one, and I just used the dot or the bottom part of my paintbrush, made the nose and the mouth, and then I painted on his little nose. And see, I told you guys they all look different. It's so cute. Anyway, I'm using some pit berries. This is the pit berry garland. I just cut off 2 little pieces to make his arms, and then we're going to go ahead and make him a little scarf. So we're just going to tie the scarf into the middle around where his arms were. It gives them a little bit more security as well. And then I did not give this guy a hat. I thought it would be cute just to hang him like this. What I did was I took a tack from one of those like nail kits at the Dollar Tree, and I just put the tack into the top of his head, wrapped some twine around it, and there you go for a super easy hanger. Here he is. Let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a clothespin snowman, and these are so fun. So I'm using these clothespins from the Dollar Tree. I had used these in a different project, and so I went ahead and glued, they were already glued together. But all you're going to do is take that middle piece out, flip them around, and you're going to glue them together. Then I'm going to cover this with some white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to make 3 of them. They're super easy to make, so we're just going to make our same little faces. These are a little bit smaller, so a couple of them I did give mouths, and then one of them I chose not to give a mouth, but that's totally up to you. If you wanted to use a Sharpie here, that would work as well, and then you could do like a squiggly line mouth. Those are super cute too. It's really up to you. Snowmen are so just fun that you can be totally creative with that. Then I just had some spare fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and tie that around each one of their necks, and I'm going to make each of the fabrics for their scarves a little bit different so that they are each different. I also took some ribbon, some buffalo check ribbon for one of them, and here they are styled. Let me know what you guys think about these cute little icicle snowmen. This project, we're going to make a wood round snowman, and I picked up my wood rounds from Amazon. I'll leave a link down in the description box if you want to check them out. These already have holes in them. I honestly don't know what I was thinking when I put these together, but I painted 2 of them with the folk art white chalk paint, and then I glued the holes together thinking that I was going to cover them up with the scarf. But since this is an ornament, it would have made more sense for the hole to be facing the top. So if you recreate this one, definitely put the hole at the top. But I made it work, so no worries. But we're going to make our cute little face here again, and I went ahead and did the eyes and the nose first, or the eyes and the mouth first, and then I painted on his nose. And like I said, each one of these snowmen have a different face, so these are so fun, and you don't have to be an expert to make these cute snowman faces. So then I'm going to take some more fabric, and I'm going to give him a scarf, and I did go ahead and put some little dots on his second round to give him some buttons as well, because I thought that would be super cute. I also glued the 2 painted ones down to the brown one because that's going to be a stand. So if you did not want this to be a ornament, you can also stand on its own, and it would look super cute in a tiered tray. or just in like a vignette or something. But we're going to make our hat similar to the one before. We're just using some twine and some fabric, tying it off, and then I did go ahead and use that same twine at the top for his hanger, and you're just going to hot glue his cute little hat to the front of the white one and then also to the back just to give it a little bit of a hold. He is absolutely adorable. You guys will have to let me know what you think about this one. Project, we're going to use a wood slice snowman, or we're going to make a wood slice snowman. I picked up this whole package of wood slices for $5.99 at Hobby Lobby, and there's like a ton in there, so it's definitely a good bang for your buck. But I just covered the front of this one with some white paint, and all we're going to do is add our cute little snowman face. I also made a Santa out of some greeting cards on one of these same wood slices, so if you want to check that video out, I'll have that at the end for you to see and in my description box. But we're just using the end of our paintbrush again here and giving him a cute little face. This project is super easy. You could also make this one with kids. Most of these in today's video could be made with kids also, or grandkids. You're just going to add some ribbon to the back. You could also use some twine if you wanted to. I just had some leftover ribbon that I thought would be super cute, and I just added some hot glue here, and then here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a fabric snowman, and I just made a little pattern of a snowman. My only thought here is that I wish it was a little bit bigger. So when you make a pattern, go ahead and make it twice as big as you think you want your ornament to be, because once I cut it out and glued it, it becomes really small. I really love how this turned out, and I definitely want to make another one just with a bigger pattern. So I went ahead and glued my twine already into the inside of the ornament. So I have one piece, and then I put the twine in, and I'm going to put the other piece on top, and then I'm going to start gluing around my snowman, and I'm just going to add some batting as we go around here. So once I got the batting in there, this just became smaller and smaller as I went around. So like I said, a bigger pattern definitely, but this is super easy. You just stuff it with some batting, and then that is it. It's super simple. Let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a snowflake wreath, and I picked up these two snowflake garlands at the Dollar Tree, and I just removed them from the plastic pieces that they had attaching the snowflakes together. Then I took my antique Waverly wax, and I'm going to cover all of the pieces with my wax. Once I get my wax done, I took this paint marker that I got from Hobby Lobby. They do sell white paint pens at the Dollar Tree. My store didn't have any, so I got a 2-pack at Hobby Lobby. Then I just went ahead and made a pattern for each type of snowflake. If you're not sure what kind of pattern you want to do, you can always Google them or go to Pinterest. There are tons of designs that you can look at. I'm going to take this hoop that came in one of those 3-pack hoop wreaths at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use this ribbon that came off of a gift. Definitely keep all of those ribbons. It's Christmas season coming up, and you can definitely reuse them. So I suggest that you lay out your cookie pieces prior to gluing them onto the wreath, because just in case you don't have enough pieces, you want to be able to spread them out. These two garlands came from Dollar Tree last year, and so I was not able to pick up an extra one. So this is a really helpful tip in case you need to either spread them out further or add some more things to it. But this is really simple. I think it's beautiful. You guys let me know what you think about this one. this project, we're going to make a cookie village. I love villages at Christmas time, and I haven't really had a place to like display our village. This one is going to fit on a small tiered tray. So Dollar Tree has these little scenery packs. I have 3 of them, and I'm going to take all the pieces out. I'm not going to use the Xmas piece. I'm just going to throw that away actually, because I wouldn't use that in my decorating, but I'm going to just get some paint and go ahead and paint them. So then I went ahead and picked up some puff paint at the Dollar Tree. I'll also leave some options down in my description box from Amazon, but this was so fun, and you're going to just want to like use your creativity and paint away. So I just used traditional Christmas colors because that's how I decorate my home. I collect Santa Clauses. They are my absolute favorite thing. I probably have, I don't know, 100 Santas. I've been collecting them ever since I've been married. So do you guys collect anything at Christmas time or just in general? Let me know down in the comments. But you're going to use your puff paint, and we're just going to add some snow onto the leaves of our trees. And I did go ahead and add some snow down at the bottom. And this is just kind of color matching here. I took all the other pieces out of the other 3 kits, and then I just colored them, and I used the coordinating puff paints for them. So for the candy canes, I wanted to put an actual ribbon into the middle of the candy canes just to give it a little bit more like dimension, I guess, or a little bit different texture. And then here it is styled on my little turntable tiered tray. I think it's adorable. It's definitely an option if you have a small home or a small space to decorate for a village, but let me know what you think about this one. So for this project, we're going to make some gingerbread houses, and I had picked up this 3 set of houses at the Target dollar spot, I think last fall, but they tend to have them all the time there. You could also use some Dollar Tree houses here if you wanted to do that and just paint them with some spray paint, or if you don't even want to do like the paint pen and create your own, they usually come out with these really cute gift boxes that look like village or house pieces, and that would be really cute too. But I'm just using my paint pen. I kind of Googled some gingerbread house designs, and then I kind of just started drawing them onto my houses. So freehand drawing is not one of my like more specialty things that I do, so these are very rough looking, but I'm okay with it. I think they look definitely homemade, and that is one of the fun things about Christmas and gingerbread house making. I love to make gingerbread houses. They were something my dad loved to do, and so anyway, this is kind of just reminds me of him, but it was fun just kind of doing some patterns and just some ideas of what I thought it would look like, but they make a super cute trio. You could make several of these if you wanted to. Any kind of like house shaped piece of wood would work great here, but let me know what you think about these. So for this project, we're going to make a gingerbread elf, and the Dollar Tree had these little characters that were like hinge people. I decided to go ahead and use the elf for this one. I'm going to use my antique Waverly wax, and I'm going to cover his arms, legs, and face. My son felt like it was a little dark for a gingerbread cookie, so if you are feeling the same way, you could definitely use the technique where you use brown paint and water it down with water to make it a stain. We do that a lot on this channel, and that would just give you a little bit lighter cookie look. So once I covered his body with some just regular green acrylic paint, that was for his clothes, his shoes, and his hat, then I went ahead and just used some regular copy paper to make a stencil of the brim of his hat and his collar. So I decided to use fabric for these 2 pieces because, well, that's what we do here on this channel. I do think a solid fabric would have been better than the fabric I chose. This is like a baking thing. I got it in the remnant section at Hobby Lobby. Definitely check that area before you go looking in the panels because sometimes they have just the right amount that you might need there. So then I'm just using a regular glue bottle that you can get at the Dollar Tree. These are like little mini ones and they are really handy. If you don't have any of that kind of glue, you could also use fabric glue here, or you could use wood glue as well. Anything that's just going to adhere well to that wood. So I had taken the hinge part off for his head just so that it would be easier to attach the fabric. And all I'm going to do is poke a hole and attach that back on there. So I'm using my glue again just to add his hat brim, and then I'm going to make sure that that is secure there. So a little bit of my marker showed through here on his hat brim, so just make sure when you're cutting that out that you cover that section well. So once I get his head attached to his body, we're ready to do a little bit of embellishing here. So because I looked at this as like a cookie, I wanted to use my puff paint to give it some icing. So I'm going to do just some embellishments on his shoes, on the pom-pom of his hat, and we're going to go ahead and do his belt. So if you don't want to get puff paint or you can't find the puff paint, you could also use caulking from the Dollar Tree. And I'll leave a video down in the description box and at the end screen where I use caulking to decorate a gingerbread house and a couple of other little projects. So it makes great icing and it's inexpensive because you can pick it up at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to go ahead and add some face features to his face, and then I'm going to do a little bit more embellishments on his arms and legs, but I just add a little bit of a simple face here. I do go ahead and give him some cheeks because I think that's adorable, and then I go ahead and add some black dots into his eyes just to give him a little bit more dimension. I think that he turned out absolutely adorable. I definitely think I'm going to go back and make the other two hinge people because I think that these would make a really fun accent piece for like a village or something like that if you had any kind of gingerbread decor. They are just absolutely adorable. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. These are over in the crafter square area. They have a couple different sizes. You want to get the kind of large, wider one. We're going to paint it with some white chalk paint. We're going to let that dry, and then we're going to use these stencils that I got from Hobby Lobby. These stencils are a 2-pack for $2.99. They are half off, so they are $1.50. They're super cute. This one has a Santa and a snowman. We're just going to use the snowman for right now. Now we're just going to stencil it on. I'll link the colors down in my description box. Once it's dry, we're going to add a little funness to the top of our project. So we're going to make a bow. I had this ribbon on hand. I want to say it came from Dollar General. I'm just going to make a shoelace bow, tie it off with some twine, and then we're going to add some greenery. My greenery came from Amazon, and if I can find it, I will link it down in the bottom. I like the frosted look with the berries, one of my favorites. We're just going to put some pieces into the bow behind the bow and then a little bit in front of the bow. I think it adds some really cuteness, if that's even a sentence. But if you want to make this a sign, I went ahead and added a hanger to the back. I often use these kind of signs with easels in my decor, and I just kind of put them into areas where I have blank space. But if you want to hang this somewhere, or even on a tree if you have a really large tree, then I went ahead and showed you what kind of hanger. I went ahead and used the same ribbon as my bow, and that is it. Super cute, and I think it is my favorite of the day. Let me know what you guys think. For our next project, we're going to take another wood piece from the crafter square area. This one has a hanger as well, but we're going to make this into a Christmas tree ornament. I was going to just use it the natural wood color, but I didn't like how my stencil turned out on the natural wood color, and so I just went ahead and painted over it with some black chalk paint. I went ahead and painted both sides since this is an ornament and could be seen on the other side. So once that dries, I'm going to take this stencil. I got this stencil in a stencil pack of 4 from Amazon. I'll link those down in my description box. I'm just going to use this middle portion of the stencil. I'm using some white chalk paint, and I don't do a really good coverage here because I want it to get a little bit of a vintage feel. It's up to you how you decide you want your stencil to look. If you want it more crisp, go ahead, make it more crisp. If you like it the way I did it, you want to not put so much paint in your brush and not do a total detail. So once I'm done, I go ahead and pick up a stencil. I really loved how this turned out. It definitely gave me some high-end vibes, or like one of those specialty shop ornaments. That's what I really liked about it. I took this pick. I got these from Joann's last year in a big bag. Any kind of greenery from Dollar Tree or anywhere would work here. And I just hot glued that to the top, and that was it for this one. Super cute. I think this would make a great gift. You could also sell these at craft fairs, and I think that they would be a big hit. Let me know what you guys think about this one. If you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're not a part of my YouTube family, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and become a part of my YouTube family. For this project, we're going to use another sign that they had in the Crafter Square area. Again, this is just in the regular Crafter Square area. They have these all year round, which is nice, so you're not running out and trying to find those Christmas items. Sometimes I know that can be so frustrating. So this is one of those chalkboard signs. I'm going to use another one of the stencil packs from Hobby Lobby. This one is also a 2-pack. We're going to use the ornament stencil, and I wanted to mention here, these are plastic stencils, so they're definitely reusable. I'm going to go ahead and pick out 3 different ornament designs, and we're going to dry brush them with our stencil brush on here. So we're kind of dry brushing / stenciling here. I didn't want a total coverage again, kind of like our ornament. We're going with more of a chalkboardy look since this is a chalkboard sign. So I go ahead and stencil all 3 of my ornaments on, and then we're going to take this baker's twine that I also got from the Dollar Tree. We're going to cut a few pieces, and we're going to glue them up to the top of the sign. I also painted the top of the sign white because I thought it went better with the ornaments. So once I've glued that on, I decided to add some buttons down where the ornaments would meet the string, and then I decided it still needed something, so I added a bow, a little shabby bow up at the top, used a berry for my greenery, and then I stuck some greenery onto the sides. That made me kind of fall in love with this. Again, this could be a oversized ornament, or you could use it as a filler with an easel, or you can also hang this up on the wall. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Super easy and definitely one of my favorites. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment a Christmas tree and let me know you made it this far and you're enjoying the video. Now let's get back to our DIYs. Now I found these super cute birdhouse boxes, that's what it reminded me of, over in the Crafter Square area. Again, the general Crafter Square area. There are 2 kinds, there's one with a heart and one with a star, and they have like a little planter area. Now I've made some ornaments before that were birdhouses. I will link that video down in my description box if you want to check it out. It's definitely one of my more viewed videos, but I thought this gave me that same kind of vibe, and so I decided to make it an ornament. Now you could also use this as a shelf sitter or a tiered tray, a larger tiered tray item. So we're going to paint it with some white acrylic paint and then some white chalk paint up at the top. We're also going to give it a dry brush. Now my paint was a tiny bit wet, and so it turned a little pink when I was going on the inside of it, but I didn't mind. So if you don't want that, just definitely make sure your paint is totally dry. Once my dry brushing is dry, I went ahead and took my greenery, pushed it down into the planter box area, Added some berries from there as well, and then I decided to go ahead and add my hanger. So I'm using some red and white polka dot ribbon. I'm just going to go ahead and make a hanger on the back. When I was done, I decided it still needed something, so I made a cute little shoelace bow to go at the top and put a little berry there. And then that is it for this one. I think this would make it a very cute centerpiece as well, using multiple boxes. Let me know if you'd like to see that centerpiece down in the comments, and let me know what you think about this ornament. Now for this project, it is something that I saw on TikTok. Now we're going to take a frame from the Dollar Tree. Definitely check that your frame is in good shape before you bring it home. Mine was not in the greatest shape. It had part of the backing coming through the front, and then one of my pieces fell off in the back. So double check your frames before you come home with them. I'm going to go ahead and take the paper out of this one and then paint the cardboard part white. Once it dries, I took this mesh that also came from the Dollar Tree. It's very sheer, so I doubled it up, and then I just hot glued the corners onto the backing of the frame. I just went ahead and put that back inside after I cut off any excess pieces. And then I took this village that they had these last year, and I made them to look like cookies for a kind of gingerbread video. I'll link that video down in the description box as well, but I thought this would be really cute, so I painted them white, and then I just went ahead and hot glued them to the front of our frame. I had these snowflake wood cutouts. I know that they also have wooden stickers at Dollar Tree that are similar to this, and you could definitely use these. I went ahead, hot glued them onto the frame just to make it look like it was snowing. I did not paint these because I wanted them to have a different color contrast, but if you want it all to be white, then paint it white. And that is it for this project. It's super simple, definitely one kids can make, and they have various different houses that you can pick up over there, and I even saw a nativity this year, which I think would be super cute for this project. Let me know what you think about this one. So on a recent trip to Dollar Tree, I saw that they had all of their gift wrapping options out right now. So I went ahead and picked up several gift bags. Now I use them for Christmas, but I love to make decor with gift bags. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to start with this Santa bag. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I love Santa, everything Santa. I collect them. And so I had to get this bag. So we're going to fussy cut out Santa to start with. And I already had this wood piece from a previous project. If you don't have any wood laying around, that is okay. You can pick up some Dollar Tree signs and do this same project. So once we have a fussy cut out, I had already painted this piece of wood white. If you're starting with a new piece or a piece from Dollar Tree, just cover your piece with some white paint. Then we're going to use some Mod Podge, and we're going to go ahead and glue it onto our wood piece. Now, I have seen on my friend Leah Nepp's channel, DIY Beauty on Purpose, she uses the spray adhesive. So I did not have any of that, but it seems to work really well for her. So if you have spray adhesive, do that instead. Now, I have some wrinkles in this, but that is okay because we're going for a vintage look. And so I was really okay with the wrinkles because the wrinkles give it a more vintage touch. If you don't like the wrinkles, you can make sure you use a brayer and go over it to get any wrinkles out. Once it is glued on there well, I'm going to take my antique Waverly wax and go over the entire project. Now I went different directions, and so this is pretty vintage looking. If you don't like it to be this brown, take out some of your antique wax out of your brush. You can put on as light or as dark of a coat as you want. I went ahead and added some vintage ribbon to the top with some greenery from the Dollar Tree. I believe this ribbon came from Dollar General. That is it for this project. I love this one. It's my favorite of the day, obviously, because I love Santa, but let me know what you guys think about this one. So for this project, we're going to use this bag, and I'm going to tell you guys, I'm using this bag for the rest of the projects in this video. And yes, I said the rest. You're able to get so many projects out of one bag. It is amazing. And I only paid $1.25 for this bag, and we're going to make 4 projects out of it. So it's pretty awesome. So to start with, I had these frames. They also came from the Dollar Tree. I have never made one of these window pictures, so that's what we are aiming for. We're going to go ahead, take out the inserts of the frame, and then we're just going to use that to trace around in our gift bag. I cut out the 4 pieces, and then we're just going to go ahead and insert them into the frames. I hot glued the frames together, and then just to give it a little bit more stability, I used some popsicle sticks on the back that I got from Walmart. I used 4 popsicle sticks, and I just went ahead and glued them right on. I added a bow up at the top that had some trucks on it because the picture also had some trucks, so I kind of felt like that went together. My ribbon again came from Dollar General. If you've never shopped at Dollar General for their Christmas supplies, they have a lot of really cute ribbon and other little things that you can craft with, and I highly suggest going and checking that out. Once I make my bow, I just add this greenery from the Dollar Tree, and that is it for this one. I really like how this one turned out. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Now, using the other side of this gift bag, I really liked this barn, and I definitely got like a rustic kind of feel from it. We're going to go vintage here because I love vintage Christmas, but we're going to use this wood circle that I got from Walmart. They're over in their like crafting paint area, wherever their unfinished wood is. Once I use a circle to trace around the barn, I just go ahead and cut out the barn piece, and I use Mod Podge to glue it onto our wood. You could also use the spray adhesive here as well. Once I get it stuck onto my paper, then we're going to do the same technique we did with Santa, and we're going to use our antique Waverly wax and cover the whole thing, and then kind of use a paper towel and get off any excess. We're going to use some twine on the back and just make a little loop so that you can hang it on a tree. Double check that it's in the middle because mine wasn't, and I had to make sure I moved it to be in the middle. I went ahead and added a cute little bow at the top, and that is it for this one. It's an over large ornament, or as I always say, you can use an easel and put it in your decor instead, but it's versatile and very vintage. Let me know what you think about this one. So for this project, we're going to take one of these wood pieces they have in the Crafter Square area all the time. They have different shapes. They have stars, hearts, and the scroll pattern. We're going to be using the scroll pattern one today. I love to use these for ornaments all year round. So we're going to go ahead and take 2 pieces of this same gift bag. It doesn't really matter where. It kind of went abstractly here. I'm going to use the season's greeting part, but it doesn't cover the entire greetings part, but that is okay. So we're going to go ahead and use some Mod Podge. We're going to cover it and then put our pieces down. You could use the spray adhesive here as well. That will also go faster than the Mod Podge. Once I get it glued on, I'm going to take my antique Waverly wax again, cover the entire thing, and let that dry. Then I'm going to use a pair of scissors, find the holes at the top, and then I'm just going to poke through there with a pen. Using the same twine, I'm going to go ahead and go through the hole, tie a knot at the top. I wanted to add a little something special up there just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. So I took some Merry Christmas ribbon. I think this came from Hobby Lobby. I've had it a little while now, and I tied it into a shoelace bow, put one on each side, and that is it for this cute ornament. You could use one gift bag, make several of these, and they would make really great gifts, or you could sell them. Let me know what you guys think about this ornament. So for this project, we're going to be creating some postcards. Now in the summer, I made some postcards using some Dollar Tree calendars. We're going to do something similar here, only using the gift bag. Now I've used this gift bag a couple times in this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and use up any of the leftover pieces. That's what's great about this, is that they don't have to be the total image. So you're going to get a more modern look if you only have pieces of the truck or something like that instead of a whole image. Now if you don't like that and you want to have the whole image, you can definitely do that as well. I went for the more modern look. So I took what was left over of this gift bag. I cut out 4 of these pieces. Now these are cards that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to glue my gift bag onto the card. These are postcard size cards. They also come with envelopes, so if you'd rather send this as a card instead of a postcard, this package at Hobby Lobby comes with envelopes. You can get these for 40% off when they are on sale for the Paper Studio. You could also use any other paper that you might have to create cards out of this as well. But you're going to want something sturdy on the back because the gift bag is a little flimsy just to make a card out of. So once I have my images cut out, I'm just using a regular glue stick. I'm going to glue it on to the postcard, and that is it. I have this really cute set of 4 postcards that all go together but are different images. You can do this with any kind of gift bag. If you would rather have a more cohesive look, you could get one that has mostly just a big pattern and not any characters on it. And then you could have several postcards if you wanted to use these for Christmas cards. That would be great too, or as a gift. Let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a Santa stocking, and I'm going to start out with this unfinished wood piece that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was $1.50 because their Christmas stuff is half off, but you could use anything from the Dollar Tree as well if you don't want to get a piece from Hobby Lobby. I am going to use a scraping tool. Mine came from Hobby Lobby, but they do sell them at the Dollar Tree and they do work really well from there. So if you don't have one, you're going to want to pick that up to work on one of these projects, or all of these projects actually. But we're going to smooth out our vinyl onto our piece of wood, and I'm just going to kind of go around all of the edges, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. So I'm just going to go around the edges of my project on my vinyl and cut it off. Make sure you have something protective underneath your project if you're using the X-Acto knife, because you don't want to cut your table or anything like that underneath. I have some paper under here and a little mat under there as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the pieces of vinyl all the way around, and I'm getting as close to my project as I possibly can. So then I'm going to take some sandpaper. You could use a sanding block here as well, and we're just going to go around the edges like we would with any kind of decoupage. There's not a lot to get here on the edges just because we use the X-Acto knife, so we were able to get it really close to our project, but we don't want any of the wispies to be hanging off. So then I'm going to take some buffalo check vinyl that I got from Dollar Tree and my scraper again, and I'm going to go over the top part of our stocking. Once I get it really stuck on there with my scraper, then I'm going to use the X-Acto knife again and cut around the top part of the stocking. Then I took this pom-pom trim that I also got from the Dollar Tree. They have a couple other colors. They have green and red and white, and I'm just going to take a little bit of hot glue and I'm going to glue it to the top of our stocking. So you could stop here if you wanted to. I think this is absolutely adorable, and remember, this is customizable, so if you want it to be different color, you could pick out some different colors from the Dollar Tree. But I decided to make this a little bit of a vintage stocking, and so I picked up this Santa sticker from Hobby Lobby. I went ahead and stuck it to some of the buffalo check vinyl, and then I went ahead and cut out that vinyl into a circle, and I put the circle into the middle of our stocking. So then I'm taking the pom-pom garland and I'm going to go ahead and put pieces of it all around the top of the stocking. I think this gives it a really fun twist to it, and I just think it really says vintage to me with the pom-poms. But I'm just going to cut 2 identical strips here, one for each side, and then I'm going to use some hot glue here as well. So once I get those pom-poms glued on, I decide that the circle also needs some of the pom-pom garland. And so I'm just going to go ahead and glue that around our circle and just using just a minimal amount of hot glue here. And then once I get it all the way to the circle, or I meet back at the top of my circle, I'm going to go ahead and add the hanger back into this. If you don't want to use it as the hanger, you don't have to. All I did was take my scissors and poke a hole from the back through my vinyl, and then I'm going to adhere or place the jute twine hanger that was already part of the stocking. I'm just going to go ahead and tie it in a knot, and here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. Snowman, and I have seen these snowmans on Olivia's Romantic Home lots of times. I've never made one, but she makes these adorable pumpkin snowmans, and I decided to try one out today. So the bottom pumpkin was a pumpkin that I picked up from Dollar General, and I will link that video down in my description box and at the end screen as well if you want to see what I got there and what I did with it. But I had that leftover pumpkin, so I just left it the way that it was, painting the welcome black. Then I'm using my buffalo check vinyl from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cover this like slatted pumpkin that also came from the Dollar Tree over in the fall section, and I'm just going to cover most of it with the buffalo check. There's a little bit of the stem showing, but that's okay because we're going to cover that part up. So using my X-Acto knife again, I am going to cut off any of the excess pieces and go ahead and use my sandpaper again and sand off any of the excess that might be hanging over the edge. So once I get that all taken care of, then I'm going to use this other pumpkin that also came from the Dollar Tree, and I just painted that one white. So using some hot glue, and I used a generous amount here, I'm going to glue my pumpkins together. So the buffalo check pumpkin is going to be the middle of my snowman, and then the white one is going to be his head, and he ends up looking like a western snowman. You guys will have to let me know if you see it, because to me he looks like a cowboy. So once I get his head glued on, I found these really cute little pieces over at Hobby Lobby, and they all are like about $1 each because they're half off, but they are all pieces to make a snowman. So I glued the little black eyes, and then I used the carrot nose that I got from there, and then I glued the rest of the little pieces down for his mouth. And then I also got this little hat, and so I'm just putting some hot glue around the stem, and I'm going to glue the hat just to the top of the stem. And they also had this really cute like beanie style if you wanted to go with that as well. And then I just took some red ribbon, and I'm going to just hot glue my red ribbon around the bottom of that top pumpkin to give it a scarf. I also picked up those arms at Hobby Lobby, but let me know what you think about this one. I think he's adorable, and he just says cowboy to me. Let me know what you guys think. For this project, we're going to create a buffalo check Christmas tree, and I know I'm using a lot of buffalo check in this video, but my Dollar Tree did not have a lot of options as far as Christmas vinyl went. Let me know if you're able to find any in your store. I was able to find buffalo check, red, green, and gold. So I am going to go ahead and adhere this vinyl to our Christmas tree. I picked up this unfinished tree at Hobby Lobby, but there are some like Christmas trees that you can get at Dollar Tree. They just don't have the stand. You could always create your own stand if you wanted to do that. So once I get it adhered, I'm going to go ahead and use my X-Acto knife again and just cut my tree out. Well, I got a little overexcited to do this project and forgot to paint my tree black before I started with the vinyl. So definitely go back, and if you're going to create this, paint the tree first before you adhere your vinyl to it. But once I get that on, you're going to see me go back and paint it. I do go ahead and paint the bottom, the stem, the back, and I do go ahead and go in between and paint the unfinished wood pieces that you can see there. Then I picked up this really cute pick at Walmart, and I'm going to adhere that to the top of our Christmas tree as the Christmas tree topper. This is super simple and customizable, but here it is. So let me know what you guys think about this one. This project, we're going to make a buffalo check ornament sign, and this is like super easy. Anybody can make this one, I promise you. This is just a sign I had on hand. I went ahead and sanded it down. You can use any sign from the Dollar Tree to do this project. You're just going to pick out one, and you're going to want to sand it down so that your vinyl has something to grip itself to. So you can see some vinyl pieces over to the right here. I was going to try and use those, but they blended too much into my buffalo check, but I did pick those up at Dollar General. So I'm going to go ahead and use my X-Acto knife again. This can be your best friend in all of these projects today, but I'm just going to remove any of the excess vinyl, and of course using my sandy block going around the sides. So this window cling set came from Walmart. I didn't see any window cling sets out for Christmas yet at my Dollar Tree, but Walmart has several out, and they have tons that are only 98 cents, which is actually cheaper than Dollar Tree. So definitely run to Walmart and see what you can find. I'm going to lay these ornaments just kind of down into a trio. There were like 5 different ornaments on this window clean page, but I'm just using Mod Podge and I'm adhering it to my sign. Then I took some of the curly cues that were also on my vinyl page or my window clean page, and I added those to the tops for curly cues by my ornaments. Then I'm just using some red satin ribbon. This was just something I had in my stash. I made really cute little shoelace bows, and I dovetailed them at the end. I'm going to go ahead and glue them right on top of the ornament to give it a little bit more dimension. And here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. For this project, we're going to make a mini Santa sign, and this is just a really quick DIY. So this is a little pumpkin sign that I got at the Target Dollar Spot. Dollar Tree has all kinds of little signs that you can use, and I'm just adhering my vinyl onto the top of it, and then I'm going to use my sandpaper. So I told you guys I had some gift tags that were similar to the big Santa in the previous project, and here they are. All I'm doing is adding some hot glue here, gluing it to the front, and here it is in my tiered tray. I think it's adorable. Let me know what you think about this one. To use one of those wood planks from the Dollar Tree. I covered it with white Waverly chalk paint, and then I'm using some antique wax and a chippy brush that I pick up on Amazon. I'll link that down below, and I just covered it to give it a distressed look. Then I'd already drawn a nose onto the board, and so I'm using some cashew Waverly chalk paint to fill in the nose. Then I'm going to take these flat wooden beads that I also got on Amazon. I painted them black, and I'm just going to glue them here above the nose for the eyes. To give the eyes a little bit more dimension, I'm going to use my cashew paint, the end of my paintbrush, just to give it a couple dots so you get the inside of the eye, and then we're ready to assemble the Santa. So this Santa hat came from the Dollar Tree, and I got it last year. This is my last Santa hat that I had on hand, but I thought these were super cute. All I'm going to do is kind of gather them in the back here of this wood plank, just to make it more secure and tight in the front. I hot glued the sides, and then I kind of folded it down and hot glued those 2 sides on top of each other. This holds really well, and you don't have to do any cutting here to make it fit. You could also stuff your hat with some stuffing or the inside of an old pillow to give it a little bit more fluffiness if you wanted to. I folded mine over. Now we're ready to create our beard. And so this fabric came from the Dollar Tree. That is probably one of my most favorite items to buy at the Dollar Tree. I'm constantly buying their rolls of fabric. You can't beat $1.25, and they have a lot of really fun fabric designs. So all I did was cut it and tear it like I normally do, and I'm just going to hot glue it all along the edge of the nose. So this is like the base of our beard. We're going to go ahead and add several other different layers here, but for the first layer you're just going to go one kind of overlapping each other all the way along our wood plank. Once we have that in there, now we're going to go at an angle. So we're just going to put a little bit of hot glue along the edge of those first strips that we put on, and then we're going to glue these fabric pieces at an angle going to the left. We're also going to do that to the right and down in the middle. Once that is completed, we're going to add one more layer of fabric, and we're going to also put those to the side. I do that on both sides. If you feel like your fabric needs or your beard needs a little bit more fullness, you can add as much as you want. I did use the entire roll of fabric for this. The one thing that I kind of wish I had done is tea stain or coffee stain the fabric, because that would have gave it a more vintage look, because my board was also distressed. So you could also do that as well, but it turns out super cute without being tea stained as well, so it's totally your preference. So the remaining pieces of the fabric I tied in a shabby bow, and then I went ahead and took the last piece of fabric strip, wrapped it around the middle so you can't see the twine. This is going to be kind of the mustachy part of our beard. We're going to glue that right underneath his nose, and then we're going to kind of fluff it out a little bit. Once we fluff out all of our fabric pieces, the last thing we're going to do is take our scissors and kind of cut it into a shape. I just did a rounded shape like a normal beard. You can also make this as short or as long as you want. It kind of depends on what you're going to do with it or where you're going to display it. If you're going to hang it on the wall, you're going to add a hanger to the back and you can make this beard as long as you want. If you're going to put it in a easel or something like that as a shelf center, you might want the beard to be a little bit shorter. I decided he needed some rosy cheeks, so I took this like barely pink color from Folk Art chalk paint and I put it on his cheeks right on the sides of his nose. And here he is, styled in some decor.
But the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I
done again with my white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm taking some ink Waverly chalk paint and distressing the board first before I use my stencil. So I picked up this stencil pack on Amazon, and it is like some really beautiful stencils. I think there was like 10 stencils altogether. I'll link them down in my description box if you want to check them out, but they were totally worth picking up. They are rather large stencils, so the entire stencil did not fit on my board, but that is okay because I took just a section of my stencil. I used red for the Santa and then the rest of the information about his workshop in black. This one is Santa traveling across the night sky with some trees down in the bottom. It also came from that stencil pack. I just went ahead and stenciled that on. And for this sign, I'm going to go over it with my ink by Waverly to give it a stressed look. You can do either to give it the look you're wanting. It kind of just depends on how you're feeling about going over your design. But here they are, styled in some decor.
The snow is falling down. The storm is on its way, but as long as you're around, everything will be okay. 'Cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me.
Another one of those wood planks. We're going to cover it with some cashew Waverly chalk paint and then use some antique wax to distress on the top. Now you can also use this with like brown paint on the bottom and covering it with white or an off-white paint on top to give it the distress look as well. This fabric came from the Dollar Tree, and like I like to do in most of my projects when I use fabric, I'm just going to cut a little piece, about an inch, and then I tear it. For this one, I had 2 long pieces and 1 shorter piece, and to get the shorter piece, all I did was turn my fabric and cut it a different direction. I picked up these jingle bells at Hobby Lobby last year. They are like a rusty, distressed kind of looking bell. I'm going to put my fabric in between the bell, the little piece at the top of the bell. I don't want these to all be the same size, which is why I cut a smaller one. And then I'm going to group them together into the group of 3. Then I took another piece of that same fabric, tied it in a knot, and secured them up at the top. We're going to go ahead and hot glue these bows to the top of our sign. And then to make it look a little bit more like a shabby bow at the top, I took a few more pieces of the fabric. I believe I had about 4 pieces. I tied it off with some twine in the middle, and then I'm just going to glue that to the top of the bells that we glued already onto the wood board. And then here it is, styled in some decor.
I longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out of nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week.
Decorating with Santas. I probably own over 100 of them. They're my favorite way to decorate at Christmas, and I collect them. I get them each year. Let me know what you like to collect for Christmas, or if you decorate with anything specific, but I'm always looking for ways to make super cute Santa decorations just because they're my favorite. Let me know if you'd like to see a home tour when Christmas time comes around, because like I said, I have so many Santas. So we're going to take some of that buffalo check fabric from the Dollar Tree again, and we're just going to add it to the top of our wood sign. You could also stuff this with any kind of batting or a pillow insert if you wanted to give it more like stuffiness in the top. I chose not to do that. So we're just going to glue that to the back, and then I'm going to take a piece of twine, wrap it around the top, and I'm going to just tie it in a couple knots to put it in place and be secure. I'm going to then take the top of my hat and then kind of fold it down and glue it. That way it's not flopping around and it's secure, like bent over. That's optional. You can do whatever you'd like at the top of your hat. So I had this ribbon that I also picked up from Hobby Lobby. It's like a burlap Merry Christmas ribbon. I'm going to wrap that around my fabric to give it like the brim of the hat. And then I took this like dusting pad or mopping pad that they have at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to glue that to the front of my sign for his beard. Then I took a wooden bead that I picked up from Amazon, and I'll link those down in the description box, but you can pick wooden beads up also at the Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to glue that into the middle for his nose, and then for one little bit of added touch, I had this extra star that I got from Hobby Lobby that was a tree topper, and I glued that to the top, and then here it is, styled in some decor.
Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July,
with some white Waverly chalk paint. I didn't distress this one at all. I'm going to take this red chevron ribbon that they have at the Dollar Tree. This is wired ribbon, and I'm just going to take a piece and glue it lengthwise, and then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to take a piece and glue it like the horizontal way. Once I get those glued onto the back of the wooden board, then the rest of this project is super simple. You're just going to add a bow. So if you don't feel like you're a very good bow maker, that is okay. They also sell pre-made bows at Hobby Lobby and Dollar Tree, and it would look just as cute to put a pre-made bow here as well. I am going to show you how I create a bow. I'm just going to loop it over like 3 or 4 times. I get like the desired size that I want, and then I take a zip tie and I'm just going to zip tie those pieces together. Then I'm going to set that portion aside, and I'm going to do that about 3 times. Once I have all 3 of those pieces zip tied together, then I'm going to take one final zip tie and zip tie all the pieces of the bow together. I have a longer tutorial on how to do this bow, and I will link it up here in the cards and down in my description box if you want to check out how to do that. Once I get all the pieces together, like I said, I'm going to take a zip tie, I'm going to zip tie that together, and then we're going to add it to our wooden present. I'm just using hot glue here, any kind of glue that's going to secure it in a really good hold. If you're securing it on like something other than that has like a place to add another zip tie, you could use a zip tie as well. These bows are really versatile and you can use them on all kinds of DIY projects. So I went ahead and dovetailed the ends, and then I took this little Santa cutout that I picked up at Hobby Lobby last year. I'm going to glue that kind of to the bottom part of our bow to give it like a gift tag look, and then here it is styled in some decor.
Than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for
and I got one of these rectangular ornaments from the Dollar Tree. I'm using some cinnamon sticks. Mine came from the Hobby Lobby, but you can get them at Dollar Tree as well. I broke them in half, or really not half, I just broke them into pieces and added them to the ornament. I got these really cute buttons at Hobby Lobby. They're 60% off now, and they have so many different shapes. But we're going to add these little trees and I think there's like a little gingerbread man. They look like cookie cutters, and then we're going to add these just plain green and red ones. I also got the gingerbread men cutouts from the Dollar Tree in the Christmas section, and we're going to cover them with some brown paint that's watered down with some water just to give it a stain color. It'll lighten up as it dries. I do go ahead and do both sides of the gingerbread men. And then we're going to use a paint marker to add just the little bits of frosting to the legs, arms, and face. So this is just a really easy process. And then once I get those into the ornament, I took some ribbon. I think this came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to make an awareness bow. We're going to glue that up at the top of our ornament, and then I found this little Mrs. Claus also in the button area at Hobby Lobby. We're going to add her to the top, and then here it is. This one is my favorite of the day. Let me know what you think about this one.
we can spend the night underneath the mistletoe, and I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow
For this ornament, we're going to create an elf ornament, and this was inspired by like a jar gift idea that I saw on Pinterest, but they had green M&Ms in a mason jar, and I thought, oh, we'll use pom-poms and do the same thing. So I added green pom-poms to one of those like mason jar ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and I had these green buttons in my stash. I just added them to the front, and then we're using some ribbon to cover up the silver part up on the top, just red ribbon like the elf's or Buddy the Elf like he wears in his costume. And then I'm going to go ahead and make another awareness bow, and we're going to glue that into the middle of this piece of ribbon that we already glued to the top. So this is just really easy. We're just going to hot glue those together. It's one of my favorite bows, like if I'm in a hurry or I just have a small project. It works really well for those kind of projects. But we're just going to go ahead and glue it together, and then I always like to add something in the middle for these because it always looks like it's unfinished. So I decided to add a red button here up at the top, but here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one.
it's Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down, and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything will be okay.
For this ornament, we're going to be making a book page ornament. I've made several of these for gifts. They are super easy and they're definitely customizable. For this one, I just picked up a book at the Dollar Tree, but you can get books at thrift stores or just books that you have that maybe are falling apart, and rather than throwing them away, you want to do something like this. I have a friend who teaches kindergarten who loves Dr. Seuss, and I had some Dr. Seuss books that had seen better days when I taught elementary, and so I did the same thing with those books. They were so colorful, and it's a super fun and customized gift. But all you're going to do is take out some pages. You're going to use your scissors to make some curlicues with your book pages, and then you're just going to stick them into the ornament. So I'm using one of the really large ornaments that they have at Dollar Tree. This one comes just one by itself, but if you get the smaller ones, you can get two at a like 2 for $1.25, which is a really good deal. I have given these away as gifts also for my students one year with a little tag that said go on an adventure. So there's just a lot of ideas that you can do with this. I'm just going to use these little snowflake picks that came off a evergreen pick that I got from Joann's. I'm just going to add it here, and then I'm going to take some Merry Christmas ribbon. I made another awareness bow. I'm just going to glue it right here, and then let me know what you guys think about this one.
Holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out of nowhere.
For this ornament, we're going to make a woodland ornament, and I got these like wood stem pieces at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section, so they are 60% off. I know Dollar Tree sells something similar. We're going to use a big bulb again from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to add several of these pieces. Now I like to keep the bigger stems because they make really good stems for other things like pumpkins and things like that, but the little ones, I went ahead and put several of those in there. I also had these pine cones left over from like a couple years ago. They're just tiny pine cones. I'm going to go ahead and add those to this as well. I believe that Hobby Lobby also sells some tiny pine cones. And sometimes Dollar Tree will have like a little cinnamon potpourri set that you can also use. So this ribbon was in my stash, and all I'm going to do is cut it in half because it's a little big for a bow at the top of our ornament. I went ahead and dovetailed the ends, and then I'm going to make an awareness bow out of this one section, not both sections, and we're going to glue it up at the top. So, like I said, these are really easy, and this time I used some twine in the middle rather than hot gluing, so it has a little bunched look there instead of just hot glue. But we're just going to glue that right up at the top, and then just for a little bit of extra we're going to take a couple more of those little tiny pine cones, and we're going to glue those in between the middle just to kind of cover up the twine. If you don't have the mini pine cones, this is still adorable. So let me know what you think about this one.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. Another year went by.
For this ornament, we're going to make an I Spy ornament, and it was kind of inspired by those little I Spy bags my kids had when they were little. But these buttons, I'm telling you, they're adorable. Again, they're at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas area, but I picked up 2 packs of the nativity ones, and then I also got these shepherds that had camel. I went ahead and put all of them into a big bulb. Now, you could also use the mason jar ones here, and you can use a little bit bigger buttons like the Santa and Mrs. Claus would fit in the mason jar one as well. I'm adding this fake snow. Mine came from the Dollar Tree. This was just a leftover bag, but they do have it again this year. And then I'm taking this gift tag and I'm going to trace it onto some brown craft paper. That way I can write on the back of the brown craft paper like what we're looking for in the ornament. So I've got Mary, Joseph, baby Jesus, camel, the wise men, and then we're going to glue, well, I tied that one to the top, and then I just made a quick awareness bow again to glue up at the top. And then this is really fun because you can shake it up and find the people inside the ornament. Let me know what you think about this one.
Happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas.
For this ornament, we're going to make a bell ornament, and this is super easy. All I did was take a bag of red bells that came from the Dollar Tree and one of these smaller ornaments that you get there that come in the 2-pack, and I just added the bells to the ornament. Then I'm taking my ribbon and I decided to make a shabby bow for this one. So I cut off about 6 pieces and then another piece a little bit longer so that I can tie that one in the middle. I just lay them out crisscross like this. You can use different colors if you want to. If you've watched me for a long time, I use these a lot on my channel because they're my favorite bow. But we're just going to take another piece of ribbon, tie that in the middle, and then we'll just cut off a little bit of the excess that's a little bit longer on one side. But then we already have a middle section taken care of for our bow. And all we're going to do is add that to the top and add a hanger, and then let me know what you think about this one.
This moment to have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we perfect.
For this ornament, we're going to make a Grinch ornament, and I have one of those bulbs again. This is the smaller one. We're going to take some green pom-poms. Mine came from Hobby Lobby, and they do go on sale every once in a while, but I'm going to fill up this whole bulb with the green pom-poms. Then I took one red pom-pom, and we're just going to stick it down in there for the Grinch's heart. And then that is it for the inside of this one. We're just going to add the top back on, and I don't know about you guys, but I have a very hard time with those. But once I get it back on, I'm just going to add my ribbon, and then that is it for this one. Let me know what you think about it.
The first for you and me.
For this ornament, we're going to make a simple snowman. So all we're going to do is take another one of those smaller bulbs, add some white pom-poms. These came from the Dollar Tree. We're just going to fill it up as much as you want. You can have a ton in there, or you can have a little bit in there. And then I took some vinyl from the Dollar Tree and I cut it into a triangle, and then I just added it to the front. I didn't add eyes or a mouth for this one, but you definitely could if you want. You could use some black vinyl there. I did take some black ribbon that I had in my stash and I wrapped it around the top a couple times because this ribbon is pretty sheer, but I was going for the illusion of a hat here. And then I added that same ribbon to the hanger part, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz, I guess, rather than the silver one. But here it is. Let me know what you think about this one.
All I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
For this ornament, we're going to make a paper ornament, and we're using some scrapbook paper. This is just scrapbook paper I had in my stash that was just some scraps. I'm going to use the same technique I did earlier with the book page, and I'm just going to cut them into strips and then do the same technique with my scissors. Now, my scrapbook paper has white on the other side, but they do sell scrapbook paper that is double-sided. So if you wanted to do this with scrapbook paper that is double-sided, that way you get two looks on the inside, you definitely could do that. Wrapping paper is something else that you can curl with scissors that works well in an ornament like this. But all we did was add two different types of scrapbook paper in there. Then I took some of this red sparkly ribbon that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue it here to this metal light bulb bottom part. I'm going to wrap it around several times to cover the light bulb piece. So I want all of the silver part to be not showing. And then I'm going to make another awareness bow just to go up at the top here to give it a little extra, as I like to say. But that is it for this one, and you can customize this one with any kind of scrapbook paper you like. Let me know what you think about it.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe, and I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow
Really easy. We're just going to take a cinnamon stick. We're going to take some red chalk paint. Red acrylic paint will work fine too. Paint the top for his Santa hat, and then I took a Sharpie and I created some little eyes, just some little dots, nothing fancy. And then I'm going to take some white puff paint. I get mine at Hobby Lobby. You can, I think, buy this at Walmart as well, and on Amazon, and I will link it down in my description box. And then you're just going to cover the top, like the part of the top of the Santa hat, and then you're going to kind of go around his little eyes to create a face shape, and then you're going to go down the length of the cinnamon stick. Now you're not going to cover the whole cinnamon stick because we're making a beard here, and then you're just going to add some twine at the top for a hanger, and then here it is, styled in some decor.
But the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under.
This was really easy to make. I just took some twine. This came from the Dollar Tree, and I wrapped it around my hand to give it kind of like a loop. Then I'm going to take a wooden bead. I got mine from Amazon, and I will link those down in the description box. I'm just going to put some hot glue on one end and glue it to like the underside of the twine. Then I'm going to wrap it around so that the bead ends up being the angel's head. And then I just take another piece of twine and I'm going to wrap that around the bead and tie it off to make the head part. You're just going to add some more glue up at the top underneath the twine so that the hair attaches a little bit better to the bead. That's optional. If you had enough hot glue on there to begin with, then you wouldn't need to do that step. So once I get that tied off, and then I'm going to take some pip berries. Mine came from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap them into angel wing type shape. You can use anything here. Ribbon would be cute too if you don't have any of the pip berries. Anything that you can make into some angel wings. I just used the pip berries to kind of go around each other to form the wings, and then I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to glue the angel to the middle of the pip berries, and that is it for this project. It's super simple, but it is so cute, and I just added a little bit of a twine hanger to the back to hang it on the tree, and here it is, styled in some decor.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down, and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything will be okay.
Mitten template from some cardboard, and then I'm going to trace it around on my burlap. Now, depending on how large your burlap is, you could make really large ones of these if you wanted, but these were supposed to be ornaments, so my burlap actually did come from the Dollar Tree, but I'll link some burlap options down in the description box. So I took some red twine that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to sew around the two pieces of the shape. Now, because these are kind of frayed on the edges, you just have to make sure that you go in a little bit, that way it doesn't totally come out. If you don't want to do this sewing piece, you could also glue these two together. Then I'm using some hot glue and I'm going to add some ribbon to the top to give it kind of the mitten look, like we had a cinched up part by our wrist. Then I took some greenery and I'm just going to glue that to the middle, and this little rusty bell that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, I'm going to glue that into the middle as well. Add some twine to the back for a hanger, and then here it is, styled in some decor.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself.
So I had to take my box together a little bit, and then I just poked a hole in the top for the hanger. I did that first because as we start wrapping our twine around, we're going to want to cover all of those spaces, and so we want to make sure we have a hanger before we start. So this is just up to your preference, really. I wrapped a certain amount, like just I kind of eyeballed it. I didn't really keep track of how many times I went around. I just added some hot glue to my cardboard, and then I would wrap around and make sure that my twine went into the glue. Then I would go a different direction and wrap my twine that way until it was getting a little bit too bulky. So the middle of this is going to be kind of bulky, but the rest of it will be, it just, as you go around, it gets bulkier, I guess it will say. This twine is really thin. It came from the Dollar Tree, so depending on the kind of twine, if you get it from Walmart or somewhere like that, it might be a little bit thicker. So once I get that all wrapped around, and I didn't have any rhyme or reason to how I put it on there because this was supposed to be rustic. If you wanted certain like design, then you got to map that out before you do it. Then I took some ribbon that I also got at the Dollar Tree, made one of those awareness bows, glued it to the top, added a button, and here it is, styled in some decor.
But the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that
This is really easy. I just picked up some pine cones at a garage sale. I know that the Dollar Tree sometimes sells really large pine cones, or a lot of times at Hobby Lobby they'll have pine cones as well, or you can also seem to find these a lot at garage sales or thrift stores, so now is the time to find them if you like to craft with them. I tied some twine up at the top just to make it as my holder, made another awareness bow, glued that in front of my holder, and then I'm going to add a ribbon. My ribbon did come from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm just going to clip off the edges to make a dovetail, and then I took one of these little berries and I'm going to glue that little berry into the middle of my bow, and here it is, styled in some decor.
tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything
Amazon, they were in like a package of 12. I know that they sell a little bit smaller ones as well. I will link these down in my description box if you want to check them out. I left the hoops together. You could also take them apart and only use one piece. You could even use the inside of the hoop, and that way you don't have the metal part showing. I was okay with the metal part showing, but if you don't want that to show, you can definitely do the inside ring and you won't have that piece. Once I had it all wrapped with my twine, then I just took this greenery pick from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that on to where the metal piece was. So I just took this pick, had several pieces to it, I took it all apart, glued the greenery up there, and then I'm going to play around a little bit with the berries just so that I can get them into the greenery the way that I like them. So once I get those glued on to the greenery piece, then I decide that this hoop needs a bow. Since it's supposed to be a wreath, I thought it needed a little bow. So I took some ribbon and I made a little shoelace bow, tied it in the middle with some twine, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue that into the middle. I'm going to take another one of those berries, glue that into the middle of my bow, and then here it is, styled in some decor.
'Cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment.
So this project is a Pinterest inspired project. I saw it on Pinterest. I thought it'd be totally fun to recreate. We're going to take 5 of these lunch sacks and we're going to cut off the top at an angle. Now you can cut either side as an angle, or you can fold them in half and then cut them at an angle, and then you're just going to cut the top to be flat. We're trying to make a house here, so whichever way is easier for you. Now I did go ahead and poke some holes at the top with these hole punch. That did not work because the holes were a little bit too small, but you don't actually need the holes for this project. Now, once we have them cut out, we're going to take this puff paint that I got from the Dollar Tree. I used 1 container of the puff paint for all 5 of our houses. And then this is the fun part. You're just going to decorate the bags as a gingerbread house. This would be super fun for kids to do. Everyone in your family could decorate one, and this makes a really cute village, which is kind of where I was going with this, but you could also use these as a gift bag if you wanted to. You could stuff them or not stuff them. I chose not to because you don't really need it, but that is totally up to you. So once you've done the puff paint, you're going to go ahead and let that dry. And then once it's dry, we're going to use some hot glue. We're going to glue the tops together after we have puffed out the bag. I took some of this baker's twine, tied it in a cute little shoelace bow, glued it to where I had put those holes, and then that is it. I arranged them up on my shelf as a little village. I totally love this. This was super fun, and you don't have to keep this year over year if you don't want to. It was super easy and fast to make. You could recreate it each year or save them. It's up to you, or give them as a gift. This one's versatile. Let me know what you think about this project. So this project is going to be a super fun project that you could make with your grandkids, your own kids, or if you're a teacher, this would make a really easy and fun ornament to take home at the end of Christmas break. So all you're going to do is get a bag. One bag will do. You're going to trace a gingerbread cutout. Now, if you want to print one off of the internet and trace that, you could. I drew mine freehand. I think that gives it a little bit more character. I made 3 of these. Each one was different. So once you have it drawn on there, you're going to cut it out. Now I cut out 2 from that one pattern because originally I was going to stuff these with some stuffing. That did not work out. So I just went ahead and glued them together anyway. It gives them a little bit more stability. If you wanted to stuff it, you need to make them a little bit bigger. Once I get them hot glued together, I draw on their cute little faces. I just used a regular marker. I used black and red. I drew on a cute face, added some buttons, and then I'm going to use some baker's twine on the back to give it a hanger, and that is it. You could have kids decorate these however they wanted. I think it would be super cute, and if you're a teacher, this would make a really fun classroom decor for Christmas. Let me know what you guys think about this one. It's that time in the video to go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and become a part of my YouTube family. For this project, we're going to take another one of the bags and we're going to draw, and I'm just doing it freehand, a mitten template. Now, I needed to make my thumbs a little bit longer in this mitten template, so just keep that in mind when you cut it out. But I went ahead and just cut out this on the one bag, and when you do that, you get 2 cutouts. I just flipped the other one around to make it look like I had 2 mittens. I went ahead and glued these. Where I glued them, I didn't really like. It looked like a dog's head instead of 2 mittens. So I went ahead and just cut it and then adjusted it, hot glued it back on. You couldn't tell at all that I had adjusted that. Once I had that on there, I took some antique Waverly wax and went over all of the mitten cutout to give it a more vintage feel. Once that dried, I took some antique white acrylic paint and my chippy brush and I went over the entire project. A little bit more heavier on the cuffs where the would meet your wrist. Then once that dried, I took some greenery that I had on hand. This came from the Dollar Tree, and then my berries is just a pick I've had for a really long time. I added some ribbon, and that is it for this one. I went ahead and added a hanger on the back because I made this an ornament. If you wanted to make this a hanging piece for your home decor, you would want to give this some sturdiness in the back, so I would highly suggest maybe a piece of paper, but mine was just an ornament and it worked fine. I really like how this turned out. It was super easy, inexpensive, and this would make a really cute gift. Let me know what you think about this one. For this project, we're going to be making a snowflake, and I know that these are not like a new idea. They are all over Pinterest. I just wanted to show you guys how super simple they are to make, and they add this really kind of elegant but neutral look to your home. In my old home where I used to live, I hung them from a curtain rod that was in my dining room, and I absolutely loved them. I even kept them up all winter long. So it's super simple. We're just going to take 7 of these bags. We're going to use hot glue. If you don't want to use hot glue, you can definitely use a glue stick. If you're doing this with kids, a glue stick would be a better option. Then you're going to glue them all together. You need some super sharp scissors because if you watch me try and cut this, mine are not super sharp, and I definitely need to put new scissors on my Christmas list. So you're just going to cut them into a sharp point at the top where you would open the gift bag, and then you're going to cut it like any kind of snowflake. You're going to add a little bit of design into the sides of it. When you have it cut out the way that you would like, all you're going to do is open it up, and it's so satisfying to open the snowflake. All you're going to do is glue the ends together. I used hot glue, and then I put a little hole in the top, added some baker's twine, and then my son has a hanger on his door and I hung it on his door for Christmas. Super easy. You can make these with kids. You could make them in a classroom as well. You can make them for your own home decor. I think they're beautiful. Let me know if you've ever made one of these or if you're going to give it a try this year. So these lunch sacks can also be used as gift bags. You get 32 of them. I got mine at Dollar General because, believe it or not, I couldn't find any at my Dollar Tree, but you either are going to pay $1.25 or in my case at Dollar General they were $1.75, and I got 32 bags. So I'm going to make gift bags for like a Secret Santa or a countdown to Christmas, and this is a really inexpensive way to do that. You can customize them all kinds of different ways. You can do it like I'm going to show you here, or I'm going to link a video that I did last year using these same sacks to do some countdown to Christmas ideas. So all we're going to do is we're going to fold over the top. I have this really cute punch that you just punch and it makes 2 holes. It's actually 2 lines. You're going to thread your ribbon in between these 2 lines into the one side. When it comes to the other side, you're going to use whatever tag you want, or you can just make a bow. I'm using this chalkboard tag that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to thread my ribbon through the hole, and then I'm going to just tie a shoelace bow here. Once I have that all attached, I used a paint marker to write to and from on my tag, and then I decided to decorate my bag. I'm just going to draw some super simple snowflakes onto the front of this bag. Anyone can make these snowflakes. It's basically drawing lines and adding dots. I just stagger them around my bag, and then you have this super cute bag. I'm going to use these. I'm going to make 5 of them and use them for my Secret Santa gifts this year for work, but they are super easy to make and a really great way to customize and personalize gift bags. Let me know what you guys think about this one.